An alien queen needed a miracle. A human soldier gave his life and became her destiny. The wreckage and the throne. The sky above Zathera burned the color of old blood. Empress Valeria Sin stood on the highest balcony of the crystalline spire, her violet skin catching the dying light of their sun. Below her, the capital city of Erithos flickered with failing energy shields. The plague had taken 3 outer districts already. Buildings stood empty, their inhabitants simply gone. No bodies. No trace, just silence. She gripped the railing, her knuckles paling to lavender. 5,000 years her people had thrived among these stars. And now they would end not with war, but with a whisper, your radiance. Her military advisor, General Cross, approached with unusual hesitation. There's been a crash. Outer Sector 7, another supply ship. Valeria didn't turn. They'd lost 12 this month. No, Empress. It's not ours. That made her look. Cross's silver eyes held something she rarely saw. Uncertainty. Show me. The wreckage had torn a scar through the amber grasslands beyond the city walls. The ship was small, angular, built with primitive but sturdy earth metal. Valeria's escort kept their weapons raised as she approached the smoking hull. Careful, your radiance, Cross warned. We detected unusual energy signatures. Valeria ignored him, stepping through the torn hatch. Inside, emergency lights pulsed weakly. The cockpit was destroyed, but in the cargo hold strapped to a medical pod was a man. Human. She recognized the species from intelligence reports. They were newcomers to this sector, aggressive and territorial. But this one was dying. His chest plate had been ripped away, revealing a wound that should have killed him instantly. Instead, something glowed beneath the torn flesh, a sphere of contained energy, blue-white and pulsing with impossible power. His eyes opened, brown like Zathera's ancient soil. They focused on her with surprising clarity. You're purple, he said, voice rough. That's actually pretty. Despite everything, Valeria almost smiled. You're delirious. Maybe, he coughed, wincing. But you're still purple and beautiful. Good last thing to see. You're not dying today, human. She knelt beside him, studying the energy sphere in his chest. Recognition struck her like lightning. That's a stellar core. A stabilization matrix. Prototype, he confirmed. Supposed to reignite dying stars. Didn't work, obviously. His laugh turned into a groan. Name's Marcus Kane, Commander, probably former. Since I've been missing for 6 months. I am Valeria Sin. And that device in your chest might save my world. He met her eyes, and something passed between them. Understanding, perhaps, or the recognition of 2 people who'd both reached their ends. Then I guess I crashed in the right place, Marcus said. So what's the catch, Your Majesty? Empress, she corrected. And the catch is you have to live long enough to help us. He smiled, tired but genuine. I'll try my best. Between duty and desire, Marcus woke to purple sunlight streaming through crystalline walls. For a moment, he forgot where he was. Then the dull ache in his chest reminded him. The reactor, the crash, the violet-skinned Empress with eyes like molten gold. He sat up carefully, finding himself in a chamber that seemed grown rather than built. All smooth curves and organic architecture. You should rest. Valeria entered carrying a tray of strange fruits. She'd traded her formal armor for something simpler, a flowing garment that caught the light. Your body is still adjusting to our atmosphere. I've been through worse. He accepted the food, surprised when she sat beside him, rather than maintaining imperial distance. How long was I out? 2 days. My physicians wanted to remove the reactor. I forbade it, thanks for that. It's kind of attached to my heart, literally. He bit into something that tasted like honey and starlight. So tell me about this plague. Her expression darkened. It started 6 months ago in our outer colonies. We thought it was a weapon at first, some enemy attack. But there's no enemy. People simply fade. Their energy signatures disappear. Buildings stand untouched but empty. And you think my reactor can stop it? Your device stabilizes stellar energy. The plague destabilizes life energy. It's not a perfect match, but it's the first hope we've had. She hesitated. I won't force you, Marcus Kane. You owe us nothing. He studied her, the proud set of her shoulders, the weight she carried in every movement. You know what I see when I look at you? Someone who's been strong for so long she's forgotten how to be anything else. Valeria's breath caught. You don't know me. Maybe not. But I know that look. Wore it myself for years. He set down the tray, his brown eyes serious. Show me your world. Let me understand what I'm trying to save. They walked through Erethos as the twin moons rose. Valeria had dismissed her guards. A breach of protocol that would scandalize the court, but she found she didn't care. Marcus moved slowly, still healing, but his eyes missed nothing. He asked questions about the architecture, the people, the way light danced through the crystal spires. When they reached the memorial gardens where holographic images of the lost flickered like ghosts, he fell silent. This was my daughter's favorite place, Valeria said quietly. She would dance here under the moons. She was 7 when the first wave took her. Marcus turned to her, and the sympathy in his expression nearly broke her. I'm sorry. Everyone is sorry. Sorry doesn't bring her back. She wrapped her arms around herself. I'm supposed to be strong, unbreakable. The eternal empress who feels nothing. That's not strength, Marcus said softly. That's just survival. Before she could respond, he stumbled. Valeria caught him instinctively, and suddenly they were close. Close enough that she could feel the warmth radiating from the reactor in his chest. Close enough to see flecks of green in his brown eyes. You're in pain, she whispered. Always. It's okay. His hand came up to her face, fingers gentle against her violet skin. Worth it for this view. You're insufferable. Yeah, I get that a lot. But he smiled, and Valeria felt something crack inside her chest. Something that had been frozen for far too long. She should pull away. Maintain dignity. Remember her position. Instead, she leaned in and kissed him. It was brief, tentative. A question more than an answer. Marcus's hand slid to the back of her neck, drawing her closer, deepening the kiss until she forgot about plagues and dying worlds and everything, except the feeling of being wanted, not for her crown, but for herself. When they finally separated, both breathing hard, Marcus grinned. So does your culture have rules about empresses kissing random human pilots? Many rules, Valeria admitted, her lips curving. I'm breaking most of them. Good, I like rule breakers. The crimson night. The alarm woke them before dawn. Valeria bolted upright in her chambers, Marcus beside her in the bed they'd shared through the night. Their intimacy had been tender, urgent, filled with the desperate awareness that time was their enemy. Now reality crashed back. The plague, she breathed, reading the emergency displays. It's reached the inner city. They dressed quickly, but Marcus caught her hand before she could leave. Hey, whatever happens today, don't. She pressed her fingers to his lips. Don't say goodbye. Not yet. In the command center, chaos reigned. Cross stood before a holographic map showing red spreading like infection through Erethos' heart. 3 sectors lost in the night, Your Radiance. We're evacuating the Palace District. How long? Valeria's voice was steady despite the terror clawing at her throat. Hours, maybe less. Marcus studied the display, his expression distant. She'd learned to recognize that look. The soldier calculating impossible odds. The reactor in my chest. It's designed to reignite stars, right? Massive energy release, controlled fusion. Yes, Valeria said carefully. What if we don't control it? What if we let it release everything at once? The room went silent. Cross spoke first. That would kill you, but would it work? Marcus's eyes found Valeria's. Would it flood the planet with enough stabilizing energy to reverse the plague? She wanted to lie. Wanted to say no, impossible, find another way. But she was an empress before she was a woman, and she owed her people truth. Theoretically, yes. Marcus nodded slowly. Then we have our answer. No, the word tore from her. Absolutely not. We'll find another solution. There isn't time. I don't care. She crossed to him, gripping his arms. You don't get to do this. You don't get to crash into my life, make me feel again, and then burn yourself out like some martyr. Valeria, that's an imperial command, Commander Kane. Her voice shook. Find another way. The silence stretched unbearably. Finally, Cross cleared his throat. Your Radiance. Perhaps we should continue this discussion privately. She'd forgotten they had an audience. Straightening, she forced ice into her veins. Everyone out, now. When they were alone, Marcus pulled her into his arms. I'm sorry. Don't apologize for living. She buried her face against his shoulder, feeling the pulse of the reactor between them. Promise me you'll fight. Promise me you won't give up. I promise I'll do everything I can to stay with you, he said carefully. But Valeria, if it comes down to me or your entire world, Then I choose you. She pulled back, meeting his eyes. Is that selfish? Monstrous? I don't care. I've lost everyone. I can't lose you too. Many rules, Valeria admitted, her lips curving. I'm breaking most of them. Good. I like rule breakers. The impossible choice. The next 18 hours were a blur of desperate research. Valeria summoned every scientist, every engineer, anyone who might offer an alternative. They filled the palace laboratories, running simulations, testing theories. Marcus sat patiently through examination after examination, the reactor's glow intensifying as the plague crept closer. The energy signature is increasing, Dr. Thane reported, her silver instruments hovering over Marcus's chest. It's responding to the plague's presence, almost like recognition. What does that mean? Valeria demanded. I don't know, Your Radiance. But the reactor wants to activate. It's taking all of Commander Kane's concentration to keep it contained. Valeria looked at Marcus. Sweat beaded his forehead, his jaw clenched with effort. She dismissed the medical team and sat beside him, taking his hand. How bad is it? Manageable, he lied. Then, seeing her expression, he sighed. It's like holding back a star. The reactor knows it can help. It's pulling against me. Let me carry some of it. She pressed her palm against his chest, against the glowing sphere beneath skin and bone. Her own energy, the natural bioelectric field all Zetheran possessed, flowed into him. Marcus gasped, then relaxed slightly. That actually helps. How? We're connected now. She kept her hand there, feeling his heartbeat sync with the reactor's pulse. In my culture, when two people share energy this way, it's considered a soul bond. Like marriage? Deeper than marriage, permanent. She met his eyes. I should have asked permission. Marcus covered her hand with his. I would have said yes anyway. They stayed like that as the moons wheeled overhead, sharing strength, sharing silence. Outside, evacuation sirens wailed. Inside, they existed in a bubble of borrowed time. Tell me about Earth, Valeria whispered. Your home. Blue skies. Oceans so vast you can't see the end. My family had a house by the coast. I'd watch storms roll in off the water. His voice grew distant with memory. I enlisted because I thought I'd find purpose out here among the stars. Turns out purpose found me instead. Do you regret it? Crashing here? Not even a little. He turned his face to hers. Best mistake I ever made. She kissed him then, pouring everything she couldn't say into that contact. When they broke apart, her resolve hardened. We're going to find another way. I'll dismantle the reactor myself if I have to. Transfer it to an external... Valeria, stop. Marcus caught her face between his hands. I've been running calculations all day. Dr. Thane confirmed them. The reactor is fused with my biological systems. Remove it and it becomes inert. Keep it contained much longer and the plague wins anyway. Then we evacuate. Take ships to another world. And abandon millions who can't evacuate? That's not who you are. His thumb traced her cheekbone. You know what has to happen. You've always known. Tears burned her eyes. The first she'd shed since her daughter's death. This isn't fair. No, but it's right. He pulled her close and she felt him trembling. I'm scared, Valeria, terrified, but I'm also grateful. I came to this sector expecting to die alone in the dark. Instead, I got to know you, love you. That's more than most soldiers get. Love? The word caught in her throat. Yeah, love. Surprised me too. He smiled against her hair. Thought I should mention it before the grand finale. I love you too, she whispered fiercely. Which is why I can't let you do this. You're not letting me. I'm choosing. He pulled back to look at her. But I need you to promise me something. Anything. Don't let guilt destroy you. Don't spend the next 1,000 years punishing yourself. Live, Valeria. Rule wisely. Find joy again. His voice broke. Be happy. For me. She couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. All she could do was hold him as the world crumbled around them. The emergency alert shrilled through the palace. Cross's voice crackled over the comm. Your Radiance, the plague has breached the final barrier. We're out of time. Marcus stood, pulling Valeria up with him. His expression shifted. Soldier now, not lover. Where's the optimal release point? Marcus, no, where, Valeria? As your military advisor, tell me where I need to be. Her voice came out hollow. The Central Plaza. Maximum dispersal radius. He nodded once, then kissed her, deep and desperate and final. Thank you for making my last days matter. This isn't over, she said, even though she knew it was a lie. No, he agreed softly. Just beginning. Rebirth and resonance. The central plaza had been evacuated, a vast emptiness under the crimson sky. Marcus stood at its heart, Valeria beside him despite his protests. She'd ordered everyone else back, this moment belonged to them alone. "You should go," Marcus said, though his hand gripped hers desperately. "I'm staying until the end." Her voice was steel wrapped around broken glass. "You don't face this alone." The reactor pulsed brighter, responding to the plague's proximity. Marcus's breath came in sharp gasps as he released his hold on the containment. Light began seeping from his skin, brilliant and terrible. "It's time," he managed. "Valeria, please." "Oh, I know." She cupped his face, memorizing every detail. "I know." The kiss was salt and starlight. When she pulled away, Marcus smiled, that same irreverent grin that had first cracked her armor. "See you on the other side, Empress." Then he let go completely. The reactor exploded outward in a wave of pure, cleansing energy. Valeria was thrown back, shielded by a barrier Marcus had somehow maintained even in his final moments. She screamed his name as light consumed him, as his form dissolved into cascading energy that swept across Erethos, across Cythera, across the entire plague-ravaged world. Where the light touched, the plague evaporated. Buildings flickered back to life. The dying sun overhead pulsed with renewed vigor, and in the plaza where Marcus had stood, only scorched stone remained. Valeria crawled forward, her hands searching ash and emptiness. "No, no, please, Marcus, no." But he was gone. 6 weeks later, Valeria stood in the memorial gardens where holographic images of the lost flickered eternally. She'd added one more. Marcus Kane in his pilot's uniform, grinning like he knew the universe's greatest secret. The gardens hummed with new growth. Everything hummed now. Cythera had been reborn, its energy systems not just restored but enhanced. Scientists couldn't explain it. The reactor's discharge should have simply neutralized the plague. Instead, it had woven itself into the planet's fundamental structure. "Your radiance." Dr. Thane approached hesitantly. "There's something you should see." They went to the central plaza, now a shrine where thousands came daily to honor Marcus's sacrifice. But Thane led her past the monuments to a sensor array. "Watch the energy readings," she said, activating the display. Valeria watched. At first nothing. Then a pulse, faint but distinct, matching the rhythm she'd felt when she'd pressed her hand to Marcus's chest. "What is that?" "We don't know." "But it's everywhere. In the soil, the atmosphere, the planetary core. It's like," Thane hesitated, "it's like he's still here. Distributed throughout the entire world." Valeria's breath caught. "That's impossible." "So was everything else he did." Thane pulled up more data. "Your radiance, his consciousness, might have survived the dispersal. Fragmented, yes, but present. Given time, given the right condition, she didn't dare hope." "How much time?" "Years, maybe decades. But there's precedent in quantum theory. Consciousness as energy pattern as recoverable data." Valeria stopped listening. She pressed her hand against the plaza's warm stone, and for just a moment she felt it. A whisper. A presence. A sense of being seen and known and loved. Valeria, her name, breathed in a voice like distant thunder. Tears streamed down her violet face as she laughed. Truly laughed. For the first time since he'd left. "I'm here, Marcus. I'm here and I'm waiting." The sun set crimson and gold. The twin moons rose silver and blue. And across Cythera, in every particle of renewed life, a human soldier kept his promise. He'd found something worth dying for. And perhaps in dying he'd found a way to live forever.